Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show, and today we're going to celebrate Robert Plant's 75th birthday. Happy birthday, Robert Plant. One of the greatest frontmen in the history of rock and roll, the Golden God. I was lucky enough to be around in the 70s and following Led Zeppelin's career when it was actually happening. It was just great. My sister got their fourth album in 71. I grew up listening to that. The first Zeppelin album I bought when it actually came out that week was Houses of the Holy. And then Physical Graffiti, Present, Song Remains the Same, In Through the Outdoor. Bought all of those albums literally when they came out. And like everybody who grew up in the 70s, Led Zeppelin and the Stones battling it out with the two giants of rock and roll. On just another planet compared to everybody else. And was fun to follow these golden gods. Robert Plant is amazing to me. I don't know what the word is. Dignity, self-worth, principled. That guy has been offered upwards, my understanding, he got offered like $300 million personally to reform Zeppelin and tour, and he didn't do it. Who else would do that? And especially in today's day, when you see all these bands touring under a brand name and they have maybe one member, maybe they don't have any members that were originally in the band, and they know that the general audience doesn't even care, and you're going to give Robert Plant $300 million to tour as Led Zeppelin, and he could do it, which they did, on the Celebration Day live thing with Jason Bonham, and he still doesn't do it. Man, that's unbelievable. So anyway, he's had a great solo career. I have all of his albums on solo as well. But let's talk about Zeppelin. I am going to rank their 10 studio albums. I was requested to do this a long time ago, and I never did. So what you see here is my complete Zeppelin CD collection and DVDs. I have some bootlegs, I have everything by Zeppelin, and I have vinyl as well, but I didn't need to get into that. Like I said, I bought their albums when they came out, then I got them as CDs and remastered CDs and box sets of remastered CDs. And now they have all these deluxe editions with 2 discs and sometimes 3 discs. So I just keep buying them over and over again. So let's get into it. Let's rank Led Zeppelin's 10 studio records from least favorite to favorite. Now, we all are going to have our own favorites. When you're watching this, if you don't agree with my choices, that's totally cool. But just remember one thing. I love every Zeppelin album. Well, except for maybe the 10th one. So they all can't be number one. And I'm going to rank them in the way that I think is the most important way, which is how often I listen to them. I know how much I listen to these albums, and that's the ranking. Doesn't really matter on paper how great they are. The ones that I listen to the most are my favorite. The ones I listen to the least are my least favorite. But again, I really do love them all. They're all essential. So at the bottom, number 10 is Coda, the posthumous album they put out after John Bonham passed away. This is the version to get, by the way. This is the remastered disc, and this is 3 CDs, and it totally fills out Coda and makes it a much more valuable album than what it was when they first released it, which was just those 8 tracks right there, and then the disc 2 now and a disc 3. All outtakes, unreleased tracks, things that were left in the can, some of which they kind of doing on these deluxe editions. But it's nice to have it in this package, and it's nice to have Hey, What Can I Do, and Traveling Riverside Blues, 2 legendary Zeppelin tracks. Nice to have them on Coda as well. So my least favorite, and it's really not really a studio record, the posthumous studio record, Coda, at number 10. At number 9, an album that's been growing on me over the years, but it took a long time because I got this when it came out in 76, and that's Presence. Love the artwork from Hypnosis, one of my favorite thematic artwork covers ever. This is the deluxe edition with the 2 discs, and this is just a really heavy Led Zeppelin album, obviously. Any album that's going to open up with 10 minutes of Achilles' Last Stand, that is brutal riffing Led Zeppelin right there, but it's awesome. Also, of course, love Nobody's Fault But Mine, and T for One, which reminds me very much of from Led Zeppelin III, Since I've Been Loving You. The rest of it's good. But like I said, some album has to go at the bottom. And this album has grown on me because God knows how many times I've already bought this thing, on vinyl, on CD, then this one, and then this one. So, it's grown over the years. Presents, that would be at number 9. At number 8, it's going to probably surprise a lot of people, but it's the truth, is Led Zeppelin III. Love the artwork. This is the remastered version with the deluxe edition, with the second disc. I'm not a huge fan of these deluxe editions. I think they're kind of chintzy. There's very little liner notes in here. They put in some great pictures, but there's really not a lot written about it. And, the companion discs are just kind of okay. But it's fun to have. I mean, I'm glad I have them. Led Zeppelin III, classic album, quote unquote, the acoustic one after the first two. Although it starts off with Immigrant Song, which is just incredible. Celebration Day, it's a little tough. I actually got this album after I got Song Remains the Same, and I like Celebration Day better on the live record. So that doesn't help it. Since I've Been Loving You is amazing. And, there's a lot of great stuff. That's the Way is awesome. Tangerine's a great track. It's still Led Zeppelin. But for me, at number 8, Led Zeppelin III. At number 7 is In Through the Outdoor. I remember when this came out, and there was a full-page ad in Rolling Stone magazine about Led Zeppelin going to be touring, and I was so excited to see it after the European dates, and of course then John Bonham passed away. But In Through the Outdoor, John Paul Jones album, really tons of John Paul Jones keyboard on here, and I kind of like it. I think it's an underrated Zeppelin album. So for me to be number 7, In the Evening is a great opener. Hot Dog's kind of goofy fun. Carousel Alhambra is a really cool track. I even love the commercial hit, I guess you'd call it, All My Love, and I'm Gonna Crawl is a great track as well. I've never been a huge fan of Fool in the Rain, although the drumming is great. But there you have it. At number 10, 9, 8, number 7. 10, 9, 8, 7 is In Through the Outdoor. At number 6, we're going to go with the debut album. Listen, I was only 6 when this album came out, so I didn't appreciate it when it came out. It's just a monstrous album. This, again, is a deluxe edition now. Good Times, Bad Times, incredible. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, amazing. Dazed and Confused, left over from the Yardbirds, of course. How Many More Times, Communication Breakdown. This is just a legendary debut album. The cover artwork describes it perfectly. Very much in the same vein as Jeff Beck Group's Truth album with Rod Stewart, but a lot heavier. So there's Led Zeppelin, the debut album, at 10, 9, 8, 7. At number 6. At number 5, it's going to be shocking to a lot of people, but again, it's based on how much I've played it my whole life. And that's going to be Led Zeppelin IV. Listen, one of the greatest albums of all time. Some people might say it is the greatest album of all times. And I certainly would not disagree. But the reality is, I just don't really ever play it. And even then, my sister got it when it came out in 71, and I heard it a billion times. But I just don't really ever have the desire to really play the thing. Black Dog's amazing, Rock and Roll is amazing, Battle of Evermore is amazing, and Stairway to Heaven, I still hear on the radio all the time, and it still sounds great. I very rarely turn it off. It's just the most perfect song, obviously. But, like Misty Mountain Hop, Four Sticks, Going to California is a great ballad, acoustic, and When the Levee Breaks, that amazing drum sound, recorded at Headley Grange, that mansion. I get it all. It's an amazing classic album that sold a bazillion copies, but I just don't really play it that much. So that's why that's at number 5. At number 4, the monstrous Led Zeppelin II. This is the deluxe edition with the 2 discs again. And it just took the first album and took it that much further. And this album I played a lot more than 4. What can I tell you? A Whole Lot of Love I never need to hear ever again. But What Is and What Shall Never Be. Amazing. The Lemon Song. Thank You. Great track. Heartbreaker, Living, Love and Made. You know, even on the radio growing up, that natural segue between the two of those. How cool is that? Ramble On, Moby Dick, don't really need the drum solo. And Bring It On Home. Devastating, huge, massive album, Led Zeppelin II, is at number 3 for me. At number 2 for me is a very special personal favorite because I got it like the day it came out on vinyl. It had the belly band, which back in those days, you know, we just bought records to play them. So I took the belly band off and threw it out. But for me, Houses of the Holy is just a really special album. I even kept one of the older CD versions that I had. You know, I still remember buying it. I still remember throwing it on and just being blown away. The song remains the same. The Rain song's amazing. Over the Hills and Far Away. The Crunch was just such goofy fun. Have you seen The Bridge? Anybody seen The Bridge? You know, Dancing Days, Jamaica, however they say that, is a really good, funky hit single in America, pretty much. No Quarter, John Paul Jones' masterpiece, and The Ocean is incredible. I just love it, man. I just think it's great. I love the artwork of the cover. And this is the deluxe edition. And for me, Houses of the Holy is my second favorite Led Zeppelin album of all time, most played. Which leaves number 1. And what's going to be number 1? Well, to me, if you've seen my other videos, I talk about my favorite albums of all time. And then I did one of the best double albums of all time. Physical Graffiti to me is by far my favorite Zeppelin album. I think it's one of the greatest double albums of all time. Check out that video. It's everything I like in a double album and everything I love in a Led Zeppelin album. It's got different styles. I mean, Custard Pie is a killer opener, but it goes into the Rover, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. In My Time of Dying is that massive blues. Houses of the Holy, left over from the previous album. Trampled Underfoot, the hit single, basically. Kashmir is a legendary track. But look on the second vinyl album, you know, In the Light is incredible, and Down by the Seaside, and 10 Years Gone, and Night Flight, and the Wanton song is unbelievable. Boogie with Stu, how could you not love Led Zeppelin with the Rolling Stones piano player, Ian Stewart? Black Country Woman, and Sick Again. This album is a monster in the best way, and far and away my favorite number 1 ranked Led Zeppelin album. So what do we have? We'll stick them up there again. Number 1, Physical Graffiti. Number 2, Houses of the Holy. Number 3, Led Zeppelin II. Number 4, Led Zeppelin IV. Number 5, the first Led Zeppelin album. At number 6, In Through the Outdoor. Number 7, Led Zeppelin III. Number 8, did I miss something? I don't know. Presence, and number 9, Coda. Oh, you know what? It is 9 albums. I counted Houses of the Holy twice. So there you have it. 9 albums ranked from Led Zeppelin. Hope this brings you back some memories. And I'd love to know your ranking as well, because it doesn't get much better than these 9 Led Zeppelin albums. My God. Perfection for sure. Funny thing is, growing up, you know, Led Zeppelin, they were not a critical band. You know, Rolling Stone never gave them much. They just shit all over Led Zeppelin most of the time. But, you know, Cream Magazine and Circus Magazine love Led Zeppelin. But they were an albums band, and they still are. So they never really had greatest hits and best ofs, but they certainly made up for it over the years. And you have things like Early Days and Latter Days collection and Mothership. And then you got the giant box set. And then they decided to put out the second. David, you knew that was going to happen. They decided to put out the second box set of the stuff that wasn't on the mega box set. So, you know, they are not short of compilation albums, Led Zeppelin. Here's another one. What was this one called? This was called Remastered, a 2 CD set. So I still think Zeppelin is best listened to as an album band, like Pink Floyd. As far as live albums go, I still remember when The Song Remains the Same came out in 1976. I was counting down the days for this live album, and I was so excited. And it had the booklet on the vinyl album and scenes from the movie, and just great. And I had the vinyl album, then I got the CD, And then I love the extended remastered version with the extra songs on it. But, you know, the original one was Rock and Roll Celebration Day. Then you get the bonus tracks here. Black Dog, Over the Hills and Far Away, Misty Mountain Hop, Since I've Been Loving You. You know, this is just great. The Ocean, the Rain Song. I mean, this is just a great first disc. The second disc, again, you got to be in the mood for Led Zeppelin when they do that incredible extended jamming stuff. You know, 28 minutes or whatever of Dazed and Confused, and Moby Dick, God knows how long that one is, and even Whole Lotta Love goes on and on and on. But Stairway's got a great version of it, and Heartbreaker. This is the live version to get with all the bonus tracks. The soundtrack from the film, the song remains the same. I still think it's a great live record. A lot of people say they perfected it with How the West Was Won, which Jimmy Page, remastered and fixed up. And this is, of course, a triple disc from '72. And same thing. Like, I love the first disc, with the relatively short tracks. But then when you start getting to disc 2 and disc 3, let's be honest, you got to be in the mood. At least most people have to be in the mood to hear, a 26-minute version of Dazed and Confused, and 20 minutes of Moby Dick, and 22 minutes of Whole Lotta Love, 10 minutes of Bring It On Home. But they're great performances. You just can't listen to them all the time. At least I can't. Celebration Day was the reunion. They had Jason Bonham sitting in on the drums, and it was everything you could have hoped for. Really was an amazing performance. This is a great live version from the reunion from 2007, disc 1 and disc 2, and there's the DVD of it. And this is just a great performance. I think, again, it shows what kind of guy Robert Plant is. That, he did it with dignity and an amazing performance, but instead of milking it and getting paid him personally $300 million, let's just do that one gig. The BBC sessions, this is the 2 CD version, that is a newer version. Again, great BBC recordings of Zeppelin live. Definitely a great collection to have. And then there's always tons and tons of bootlegs. Zepp's been booted, up there with the Stones and Dylan and the Who, just a gargantuan amount of bootlegs. Some of the famous ones right here. This is Destroyer, and this is from Cleveland in '77, a really famous show, great live performance. This is Seattle, also from '77, 3 discs. And then from their final tour in 1980, when they played Europe before they were going to return to America, this is in Germany, and this is from Brussels. So a couple of bootlegs from that tour. What else? Tons of stuff on DVD. The official 2-disc version of The Song Remains the Same. Am I the only one in the world who really likes that movie? I do. Got to be in the mood for it, but I don't mind all the film scenes, mixed in with the live performances. It's good, great stuff. The DVD, the Led Zeppelin DVD, had a lot of really cool stuff on it, including Nebworth and Royal Albert Hall and other stuff. Great DVD. And then here's Earl Court 75 on bootleg, the whole show, and Seattle in '77, which is what that soundtrack is from as well. So there's tons of bootleg CDs and vinyl and DVDs, and I got other stuff as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. David, hope you enjoyed that massive collapse, but could have been worse. And thanks for watching. Happy birthday, Robert Plant. And like I said, I have all the solo albums. Maybe one day we'll do a ranking of those albums as well. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hit subscribe if you're new. Check out my other videos, artist discographies, ranking videos. I got a bunch of them. And I hope you enjoyed this. And let me know what you think, because I know that a lot of people are not going to agree with my top 10. I'd like to know what yours are as well. Have a great night. See you next time.